The gavel slammed down like a thunderclap in the stale air of the Cook County Juvenile Court, and Vincent Harlan's world cracked open. "Case dismissed," the judge barked, her voice slicing through the murmurs. But it wasn't freedom, it was exile for 5 boys who'd already been bounced around more homes than most kids see Christmases. Bobby, the oldest at 17, with his sharp jaw and eyes like chipped flint, locked gazes with Vincent across the room, whispering under his breath, "You really gonna do this, man? Take all of us strays?" Vincent swallowed hard. His calloused hands, still rough from 20 years flipping burgers and fixing leaky roofs in Chicago's South Side, clenching the adoption papers until the edges frayed. He'd come here on a whim, a gut punch after burying his partner of a decade to AIDS complications no one talked about in '95, figuring one broken queer could stitch together a few more. But five LGBTQ+ kids the system deemed unadoptable, gay, trans, too mouthy, too scarred. They stared back at him like ghosts of his own youth, daring him not to flinch. Rain hammered the courthouse steps as they spilled out into the gray Chicago afternoon, the boys trailing Vincent like wary wolves. Alex, the wiry 14-year-old with a buzz cut and a habit of picking at his nails, kicked a puddle and muttered, "This some kind of pity party? Or you actually got a couch big enough for all our bullshit?" Vincent stopped, turned, and met their eyes one by one. Jordan with his freckles and hidden panic attacks, Riley the quiet 15-year-old sketching demons in his notebook, Sam the youngest at 13, all fire and forgotten bruises. "Pities for suckers," Vincent said, voice gravelly from Marlboroughs he swore he'd quit. "We're family now. Deal with it." That first night in Vincent's cramped bungalow on the edge of Englewood, peeling wallpaper, a kitchen table scarred from knife fights Vincent never started. The air hung thick with the smell of thawed frozen pizza and unspoken fears. Bobby claimed the lumpy couch, arms crossed like armor, while the others piled into sleeping bags on the threadbare carpet. Vincent cracked open a couple of Cokes, passing them around like peace offerings. "Rules are simple," he said, sinking into his armchair that still smelled faintly of his late partner, Ellis. "No lies. No running. And we talk about the shit that keeps you up, the dreams that don't. I'm not your warden. I'm your backup." Bobby snorted, but there was a crack in it, a hunger. "Backup? Last foster dad said he'd fix me with Bible study and a belt. You queer too? Or just crazy?" Vincent's laugh was low, bittersweet. "Both, kid. Lost my guy to the plague they wouldn't name back when Reagan was pretending it wasn't real." The room went still, the boys' faces flickering in the lamplight, recognition dawning like a shared scar. Alex leaned forward, voice small. "My mom's church called me an abomination. Locked me out after I kissed a boy at prom." Jordan nodded, whispering about the dad who disowned him for wearing skirts. Riley sketched faster, lines blurring into something fierce. Sam just hugged his knees, silent tears carving paths down his cheeks. By week's end, the house pulsed with tentative life. Vincent dragged them to the local rec center, where dusty basketballs met awkward dribbles and laughter that bordered on hysteria. Bobby, with his long limbs and street-honed grace, schooled them all, but it was the after, sprawled on the gym floor, sweat-soaked and breathless, that bonds started forming. "You're all right, Vince," Bobby admitted one evening over lukewarm spaghetti from a can, the others eavesdropping from the hall. "But if this blows up, I'm out first." Vincent nodded, hiding the ache. He'd seen too many blow up, his own family in rural Indiana, disowning him at 16 for holding hands with the farmhand's son. This was redemption, or ruin. He poured himself into it anyway. School hit like a freight train. Englewood High was a pressure cooker of gang tags and whispered slurs, but Vincent walked them in that first day. Broad shoulders squared, his faded Blackhawks cap pulled low. Heads up. Mouths shut unless it's worth it, he growled. Bobby, a senior, drew stares for his ripped jeans and the subtle pride pin on his backpack. Vincent had slipped them each one, a quiet fuck you to the world. Lunch was a battlefield. Alex got shoved in the hall for holding hands with a classmate, his lips split and eyes blazing. Vincent was there by pickup, ice pack in hand, listening as the boy spilled it all in the truck cab. They called me a freak. Said no one's ever gonna want that. Vincent gripped the wheel tighter. They don't get to decide that, Alex. You do. Nights blurred into routines. Vincent's double shifts at the auto shop funding thrift store clothes and therapy sessions no insurance covered. He'd sit on the porch after, nursing a beer, watching the boys wrestle in the yard, Jordan's laughter finally breaking free, Riley's sketches turning from monsters to portraits of them all. But cracks showed. Sam wet the bed from nightmares. Bobby snuck out to score weed and dodge questions about the track marks he hid. One dawn, Vincent found him slumped on the stoop, shivering. Can't sleep without thinking they'll take us back, Bobby confessed, voice raw. Vincent pulled him into a hug, awkward, bone deep, and murmured, "Over my dead body, son." Winter clamped down, snow blanketing the south side like a shroud. Christmas came scavenged. A crooked tree from the alley, lights strung crooked, presents wrapped in newsprint. They burned Ellis's old photos in the fireplace, toasting to ghosts and futures. To us, Vincent raised his mug of spiked cocoa, eyes misty. The boys echoed it, voices overlapping, Alex's tentative, Jordan's cracking, Riley's soft, Sam's fierce, Bobby's steady. For the first time, the house felt less like shelter and more like home. But spring thawed more than ice. Whispers from neighbors, that fag's collecting freaks, escalated to eggs on the windows, tires slashed. Vincent stood firm, teaching them boxing in the basement, not for fights but for standing tall. World's gonna swing, he'd say, taping their knuckles. You swing back with heart. Bobby absorbed it deepest, his fists flying like poetry, but his eyes held shadows of a biological mom who'd pawned him for crack, a string of uncles who'd crossed lines no kid should know. By summer, the garden Vincent coaxed from cracked concrete bloomed defiant. Tomatoes red as anger, basil sharp as truth. They harvested together, dirt under nails, stories spilling like seeds. Alex came out to his first crush at the community pool, heart pounding as Vincent waited in the lot, ready with pep talks or bail. Success tasted like chlorine and stolen kisses. Jordan experimented with makeup in secret, Vincent buying the first tube of lipstick with a wink. Wear it like armor, kid. Riley's art won a school contest, a mural of intertwined hands in rainbow hues, drawing local press that Vincent fielded with gruff pride. Yet doubt gnawed. Child services hovered, annual reviews like inquisitions. Single male adopter for 5 high-risk youths? The caseworker sneered, clipboard poised. Vincent's temper flared. High risk? They're kids fighting for air in a world that chokes him. I've got their backs. What's your excuse? Bobby overheard, cornering him later. You ever regret it, Vince? All this chaos. Vincent paused, the weight of lonely nights crashing in. Every damn day I wake up grateful. You boys? You're my miracle. As leaves turned, so did tides. Bobby's 18th loomed. Freedom's edge or abyss. He aced his GED. Dreams of community college flickering. But a guidance counselor pulled him aside. With your record, better aim low, son. No one's betting on boys like you. Bobby came home raging, punching the bag until his hands bled. Vincent cleaned them silently, then drove him to the lakeshore at midnight, Chicago's skyline glittering like fool's gold. They don't see you yet, Vincent said, arm around shoulders that no longer flinched. But we do. And that's enough to start. The family deepened, roots twisting underground. Sam's nightmares eased into bedtime stories Vincent spun from his own wild youth. Road trips with Ellis. Stolen moments in truck stops. Alex's first heartbreak came swift. A boy ghosting him after whispers spread. The house mourned with ice cream and bad movies. Vincent's arm a steady anchor. Jordan's panic attacks found rhythm in yoga videos they all mocked then mastered. Riley's portfolio grew. Pages filled with their faces. Laughing, crying, alive. But autumn's chill brought the first real fracture. A letter arrived. Crisp CPS stationery. Reevaluation recommended due to community complaints. Vincent burned it in the sink. But the smoke lingered. Bobby found the ashes. Confrontation brewing. You can't just hide shit, Vince. We're in this or not. The argument spilled into the yard. Voices raw under sodium lights. I'm protecting you, Vincent roared. From what? More lies, Bobby shot back. The others watched from windows, hearts pounding, family on trial. In the quiet after, Vincent gathered them around the table, faces drawn. I ain't perfect. Lost my way plenty. But losing you? That's not an option. Tears fell, hugs clumsy and fierce. They vowed transparency, a pact sealed with linked pinkies. Childish, unbreakable. Fall faded into holidays again. Thanksgiving turkey charred but shared. Gratitude lists longer than gripes. By New Year's, resolve hardened. Vincent enrolled them in a queer youth group downtown. Bus rides filled with banter and nerves. There, sparks flew. Alex met Theo, a shy artist with dimples. Jordan caught eyes across the circle. Bobby mentored the new kids, his voice steady, while Riley's sketches adorned the walls. Sam, blooming, declared himself with a handmade sign. Proud as hell, spring '97 brought renewal and reckoning. Bobby's acceptance letter to Harold Washington College arrived. Confetti in an envelope. Celebration erupted. Cake from the corner store. Toasts with root beer. But joy cracked when Alex's ex outed him online. School exploding in fallout. Bullies cornered him after class. Words like knives. Vincent stormed the principal's office. Lawyer from the youth center in tow. This stops. Or headlines do. Victory was Pyrrhic. Alex transferred. Trust bruised. Summer tested them. Heat waves warped the air. Tempers frayed. Bobby worked the shop with Vincent. Grease monkey bond deepening. Late shifts. They talked dreams. Bobby's poetry slams. Vincent's half-forgotten novel. You write it, Bobby urged. For us. One night, rain lashing, Bobby confessed a secret, his first love, a foster brother lost to the streets. Vincent listened. No judgment, just presence. Love's the risk worth taking. Son. As leaves fell again, the house stood stronger, a beacon in Englewood's grit. Conflicts simmered, teen rebellions, money woes, but love leavened them. Vincent's 40th passed unmarked but cherished. Cards from small hands. To the dad who chose us, Bobby read, voice thick. In that moment, Vincent knew they'd saved him as much as he'd saved them. Yet shadows loomed. CPS's final review approached. A gauntlet. The caseworker returned, colder. Stability questionable. Multiple identities complicate placement. Vincent's blood boiled. Complicate, they enrich. Measure heart, not checkboxes. The boys testified. Voices united. Bobby's eloquence. Alex's fire. Jordan's poise. Riley's quiet truth. Sam's innocence. The room held breath. Approval came, tentative but total. Winter wrapped them tight. Snowball fights in the yard. Hot cocoa rituals. Bobby's college orientation loomed. Nest emptying first. Don't be a stranger, Vincent growled at drop-off. Eyes wet. Never, Bobby promised. Hug lingering. Spring 98 bloomed betrayal seed. A neighbor, embittered ex-cop Harlan, Vincent's own uncle, estranged, filed complaints, dredging Vincent's past arrests for sodomy in the 80s. Headlines screamed, gay adoptive father under fire for indoctrinating boys. The world crashed in, reporters on the lawn, kids dodging stares. Vincent shielded them, but cracks widened. Alex spiraled. Skipping school. Jordan's attacks surged. The climax shattered one stormy June night. Bobby, home for break, found Vincent on the porch. Whiskey bottle half empty. Papers scattered. Eviction notice from the landlord buckling to pressure. They want us gone, Vincent muttered, defeated. Bobby's rage ignited. Fuck him. We fight. But doubt poisoned. Whispers that Vincent had chosen them for show. For pity. A leaked email from the uncle twisted it, claiming Vincent sought test subjects for some queer agenda. Betrayal stung deepest from within. Riley, pressured by a school counselor, confessed a slipped word about house fights, twisted into abuse claims. I didn't mean, he sobbed, but damage bloomed. CPS swooped, separating them overnight, boys to temp homes. Vincent alone in the echo. Hell followed. Court battles drained savings. Vincent picketed alone. Sign reading family isn't paper. Bobby rallied from his dorm, organizing protests, queer activists chanting outside City Hall. Alex hacked a viral video. Jordan penned op-eds. Sam drew protest art. Riley atoned with murals of unity. The world watched. CNN segments. Glad spotlights. Vincent's uncle recanted under scrutiny, exposed as bigot clinging to grudges. Climax peaked in the hearing room. Sweltering July. Boys reunited on the stand. Testimonies weaving a tapestry of love forged in fire. Bobby's closing gutted. He didn't save us, we saved each other. Vincent's our rock. Our root. Tears flowed. Judge ruled reunification. Family intact. Precedent set for queer adoptions nationwide. Summer healed. Back home, new apartment. Community funded, the air lightened. Scars lingered, but laughter returned. Vincent burned the hate mail, planting a garden anew. Romances budded. Alex and Theo's handholds. Jordan's first date in heels. Bobby published his first poem. Dedicating to the man who taught me home. Years blurred. College graduations. First jobs. Alex in graphic design. Jordan advocacy. Riley gallery shows. Sam theater kid extraordinaire. Bobby, law degree in hand, litigated for foster reform. Vincent aged gracefully, silver threading his hair, novel half-written on nights when boys, now men, crashed for dinners. 25 years from that rainy courthouse step, the world converged on Chicago's Millennium Park. A documentary premiered, Unwanted No More, charting their saga, adoptions to activism, heartbreaks to triumphs. 5 men, polished yet pierced, flanked Vincent on stage. Bobby, keynote speaker, voice booming. We were the boys no one wanted. Now, we're the men who won't be ignored. Applause thundered. Cameras flashed. Backstage, hugs crushed. Vincent, eyes crinkled, whispered to Bobby, worth every scar. Bobby grinned, arms slung round. Damn right, Dad. The camera caught it. Family, flawed and fierce, thriving under lights that once blinded. In America's heart, they'd carved space, not just surviving, but shining. Human, whole, home. Fade to quiet evening, lake breeze off Michigan. They gathered on a porch much like the old, stories swapped, beers cracked. Laughter echoed, love unspoken but etched. No grand finale, just this roots deep, branches wide. Thriving, together. Always.